So, I just got back from the garment district.
Hello friends! If you haven't seen any of my videos before, hello, welcome. I'm Kathleen. I love sewing, specifically historical sewing, as well as all sorts of other kinds of textile arts. And so that's what I like to talk about here. And today is going to be a little different from a lot of what I've made before because I am not making a project today. But I am still talking about sewing. As I alluded to, I just got back from a trip, not just to go to the New York Garment District. I was in New York for other reasons, but I went to the New York City Garment District for the first time. Prior to this, I really hadn't done fabric shopping besides Joann's and online stores. Where I live, Joann's, that's it, pretty much in terms of fabric stores. So this was completely different, having so many stores in one place and such a wide variety of fibers and types of fabric, and it was just, it was dream come true. It was I was like a kid in a candy store. Going to the garment district is something I've wanted to do pretty much since I got into historical sewing and learned that there was a garment district, and wait, there's these in different cities. What? Yes, today is a bit of a haul video because this is something I've wanted to do for a long time, and I've been saving up for a while, and I've been like planning my projects for like way into the future. So this could be kind of my big hurrah, getting materials for a bunch of projects for the next, at least a year. I would not be surprised, like 2 years. So I want to show you guys some of what I got and talk about some future project plans. I don't know what order I'll work on these in, and these probably will not be the only projects I'm working on, but these are some things that you can keep an eye out for in the next long span of time. So I didn't really know what order to talk about my purchases in, so I'll kind of go by category a little bit of type of project. So I'm going to start with some more history bounding items. So first I got this, I'll have a close-up shot of it, but this is a white cotton. It's very thin, it's very light. It has this stripe woven into it that's absolutely beautiful. So this is going to become a wardrobe piece. Specifically, I'm going to be using a pattern for an Edwardian shirtwaist. I'm planning to use the Black Snail pattern, Patterns Edwardian shirtwaist. Black Snail Patterns is an Etsy store that if you do historical sewing and you have not heard of them, you have to check them out. I've done a couple projects for their patterns, and I find it's a really good kind of like in between of they are historical. These are the right shapes, and these are the right techniques. They will get into how to do the hand sewing, but it is written out like a modern patterns instructions is written out. So you can get those good techniques and pattern shapes that are like the authentic stuff without kind of the daunting task of decoding. I digress. So that is project one, is Edwardian shirtwaist. So next up, also in the category of wardrobe pieces / history bounding, is this. So this is, and again, have some up close. So this is a lovely light blue linen with a dark blue stripe woven through it. I got this from a store that's on 37th Street. So most of my shopping was on 39th Street. I think this is the only one that isn't from a 39th Street store. So this was from a store on 37th called Gray Line Linens, Gray Line Fabrics. I will put the right name on screen somewhere because I misspoke. But oh my gosh, it was a whole store of everything linen. Everything was linen, all different kinds. They had one that I didn't end up getting, but I considered for a project that I've decided it can wait. It can wait until after all of this chaos has been taken care of. The specific one I liked was like this dusty like rose, and so it was that pink, but some like half of the warp threads were this like metallic gold, so like as you moved it was like gold and shiny, and it was beautiful, but it was not to be in this particular instance. But anyway, yeah, Greyline Linens, I loved their staff, was super helpful and super nice. But yes, so anyway, what's this gonna be? It's linen and I love it, but what's it gonna be? This I am planning to get, and I will put the number of it up on the screen, but truly Victorian pattern number, which is an 1860s blouse. So I'm planning to make this, so with like the low shoulders, the big sleeves. I'm planning to make this as mostly for everyday wear. Yes, I don't know for sure, but I'm thinking this is probably one of the first ones I'm gonna get started on, because this is something I definitely want to be able to wear for the rest of summer and for this fall. Moving on. One thing I forgot before I move on to the more like exciting ones, I got I got some handkerchief weight white linen, because I have some millinery stuff that I want to do updates for my 18th century wardrobe. Essentially, there's a lot of things in my 18th century wardrobe right now that I made with medium weight cotton, because that's the material I had at the time when I was learning, that I would prefer to have be in lightweight linen. So now I have a little bit of lightweight linen to update my fichu and all that, those little things. So one of my next endeavors in terms of purely historical clothing, so not really something I'm making for my everyday wardrobe, but is going to be an 1820s gentleman's suit. I'm not meaning to upset anyone with this, but it's just like my own opinion. Women's Regency fashion hasn't always been what's been most interesting to me. I definitely see in it like what other people love about it, but it's not been one of my personal favorites. However, Regency menswear I love. It's just like, I just think it's really interesting. I haven't really done much menswear before, but I really wanted to learn more about it, because the whole, I guess, I don't know, dapperness of that specific era, and like the very high collars and the cravats and stuff I just really like. Now my day-to-day clothes, my personal style kind of swings between the very feminine and fairly androgynous, and so I thought it'd be fun to kind of incorporate that into my historical clothes and the projects that I make. So I do make, yes, very feminine historical clothes, but I thought, hey, it'd be fun to make something more on the menswear side of things too. That's my very long, rambly explanation, intro, whatever, to these next fabrics. Our first thing in Regency suit is a red linen that will become my waistcoat. I already have drafted the pattern for this, so of this project, this will probably be one of the first things that gets made. I can talk more specifics about drafting the pattern at a later date. But anyway, yes, red linen. This will be a lovely, lovely waistcoat. I have some antique buttons that I got at an antique store near where I live. Had this big jar of buttons, and I was like, oh, they're beautiful. And they were like, yeah, just take the whole thing for whatever amount. And I was totally like, yeah. They were like, yeah, take the whole jar for the amount I was expecting to pay for like the buttons I needed for this. But yes, this was Also linen, but it is not from Gray Line Linens. It's from Hamed Fabrics, and I'll spell that on screen. And that was another store that I really, really liked. They had a great selection. They also had a great selection of linen, and they also had a lot of good cottons and stuff. And again, it was the people there were really friendly. So that one is on 39th Street. And I guess this is I don't know, anyone going there. There is an upstairs. Go to the upstairs too. It's easy to miss the stairs, but there's good stuff upstairs too. But anyway, that is my waistcoat. Next, also in Regency menswear, I will be making a pair of linen trousers. I haven't decided yet if they're going to be trousers or pantaloons. Essentially, are they going to be straight leg from the knee down, or are they going to be fitted to my calf? That I don't need to decide until like I'm finishing them and just whether I want to make them shape to my calf or not. But anyway, so this is a linen from Gray Line Linens. It is a heavier linen. It's off-white. And yeah, not anything particularly too interesting for that, but it is going to be pants. Lastly, in Regency suit is going to be the coat. And so I have this fabric. Doesn't show up well on the camera necessarily, but it is a black and dark gray herringbone, and it's wool, which I'm so excited about. I got, there's a really good sale going on at the store I got this from, and the next piece that I'm going to show. But anyway, yes, this is a lot more fabric than you need for a frock coat. This one cut of fabric is actually going to be two different projects. So one, the Regency coat, and two, a Victorian, specifically Victorian is a very wide range, 1890s skirt. I am going to be making two. One is going to be a walking skirt. I've been wanting to make a walking skirt. That was, again, when I got into historical costuming, making a walking skirt was one of the first projects that was like, that is something I want to do. But I was like, I'm gonna wait until I have a material that I just really, really love. And this was the time. So I'm gonna be making two essentially street ensembles from the 1890s. One will be a standard walking skirt, and the other will be a split skirt, so a pants disguised as a skirt. Because I love bicycle fashion. I already have one pair of bicycle trousers, and I can't get enough of 1890s bicycle fashion. I love it. Can't get enough of it. But anyway, so I'm thinking this fabric, the herringbone, is going to be the coat, Regency coat, and the split skirt. Which brings me to our next piece. Oh, real quick, I also got like a bunch of linings. It actually turned out every project that I was planning that needed a lining all needed black linings. So I just got a whole big hunk of black glazed cotton. Not very exciting, but very important. Next, I have her. I am so excited for this. It's a big cut of fabric I'm planning to make into a 1890s walking suit. So essentially a three-piece suit. So a walking skirt, a waistcoat, and I'm thinking an Eton jacket. I will, there's a specific pattern in one of the books that I have. I say one of the books that I have, like I have a ton of books. I have two historical pattern books. Everything else, like, is mostly me reading drafting instructions on archive.org. But yes, one of the books of my extensive library, there's a specific ensemble in it that I am planning to make. But anyway, yes, so my walking ensemble in this gorgeous red wool tartan. I'm so excited. I love tartans so much, and I'm so excited for like having those the patterns like lining up on where the straight grain meets the bias, and I can see it in my head. I can like visualize the whole thing. But I'm so excited for it to become a reality. This one was kind of funny when the guy started rolling it off the bolt, started rolling it, and there was like this weird print on the other side, and I was like, oh no, my like perfect fabric. There were a million of like tartan and tweeds that were beautiful that I would have been absolutely happy with, but I'd like already picked this one. And I was like, oh, no. And he was like, oh yeah, there's no wrong side to it. Both sides work as the right side. Just use the other one. And I was like, oh yeah, duh. And it's going to be lined anyway. So that was not something to be stressed about. But anyway, yes. So my last piece of fabric, I'm going to try not to spoil it too much by like showing it, but was a bit of an impulse purchase. I say that with air quotes because I went in with a plan and with a budget, and this is something that I would recommend for anyone going into the garment district. I had planned out, these are what I'm shopping for. This is kind of the maximum I'm willing to spend on any of these yardages, and kind of, if I can't find what I need, that's okay. This project isn't happening right now. Remember your sales tax. All of that is to say, this was an impulse purchase in terms of it wasn't on my list of projects, but it was within the budget. It did fit. I was not spending anything I wasn't already expecting or intending to, which again, that is, if you're going to the garment district, especially if you're a complete newbie like me, have a plan. Know what you're gonna spend, know what you're looking for. It was pretty overwhelming even going in with a very detailed, worked out ahead of time plan, a list of, these are stores I definitely want to go to. This is, okay. All of that to say, this was not in the plan, but it was in the budget. So what I'm going to do, this is this beautiful silk taffeta. So it is, it's again like the gray one. I don't know exactly how well this will end up showing up on camera, but this is it in real life. It's kind of like I would say like a sea foam, kind of like blue, a little bit green, with then these gold stripes on it. It is lovely, and the sound, I'm like, I just can't get enough of just like the sound, just like, I just love it. It's gorgeous. Yes. I was looking for something else in a store, and I was about to leave because they didn't really have the thing that I was looking for, and I saw up on the shelf this row of silk taffetas, and I was like, oh, they're beautiful. And then someone who was working at the store was like, oh, are there any that you want to like look at? And I was like, I shouldn't, no. But picked out a few to look at. And so this one, she is going to be an 18th century, right now I'm planning Italian gown, perhaps a polonaise. Those are like Italian gown I have some experience with. I have made one bad Italian gown, so I'm hoping having made, well, not bad. I'm not going to be too hard on myself. It was good for the place I was at, but it was not researched as much as it should have been before I started, so there were glaring yikeses about it. But anyway, so I think that having made one, kind of knowing the process from that, a familiar style, but a completely unfamiliar material, because this is the first time I've sewn with silk. Well, it isn't, I'm not even doing it now. This will be the first time I've sewn with silk taffeta. Actually, I think I hemmed a skirt once that was silk. But anyway, all of that aside, I'm very excited. I think that I want to do one of those styles because of the like bustled up skirt, I think will look really good in this fabric, and especially how this fabric has, because of that stiffness and just the properties of it, I think that drawn up look will like keep a lot of its volume and will just look very lovely in this. And yes, with all the stripes, I am so excited. I also got some miscellaneous trims, a lot of twill tape. This isn't very exciting. This is mostly just twill tape because that's other tips. You can't get enough twill tape. I am always needing twill tape for something, and usually I have to like go run get a spool real quick because the craft store near me only sells them in like 2-yard spools, and I always need like 2.5 yards. And so anyway, that complaining aside, I also got some trim, but this isn't exciting, so I'm not going to talk about it extensively. So anyway, yes, that is my New York City Garment District haul. Overall, it was a really good experience. It was really fun. Most of the stores, the staff was really helpful, really nice. A couple of the stores, it's the sort of thing, it's a little crowded and chaotic, but other stores, it's very like organized. And even the quote-unquote chaotic stores, that's not a bad thing necessarily. It's just a thing to be aware of. If kind of crowded, visually overwhelming spaces are not your jam, there's the stores you kind of, there's some that you might be like, maybe not. I only had one like kind of semi bad experience, and it was, I won't say the name of the store, but it was one store owner kind of made some uncomfortable, kind of objectifying comments about me. And that same store owner was pretty rude to one of his like sales clerks who I had talked to. That guy also like really wanted me to pay with cash and kind of was mad, not mad, but kind of just like irritated when I like told him like I was paying with my card. But I'm just kind of like, I don't know what's up with that. That was the store where I got the silk taffeta. So the fabric they had was beautiful, but the overall experience was just one of those things of it's just when it's just like a little off, just like something feels like a little bit off about it. Yeah, but that was one store that was kind of an uncomfortable experience, just kind of that being in there, it was like something feels kind of off. But that was definitely an exception, not the norm to the Garment District or to 39th Street specifically. Every other store I was in, everyone was wonderful. All the vibes passed the test. So that's my New York City Garment District experience. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you back here soon with more videos. Getting started on my big pile of projects to work on. So it's very exciting. Good times, and have a lovely day.